Hey college football fans, I want to thank you all for following and helping us get the traction that we've been getting recently, and I ask that you please keep that up and pass it along, not for me, but for those who love the game, who enjoy the game, and want to get excited for it. 2022 should be a great season, and we've had an off season of some ugliness, so why not help spread the good and the exciting stuff that college football has to offer. So we're going to get to episode 30 of Walk It Off with Chappy, and before we transition to the Big Ten conference next week, we're going to do our last little SEC segment here, talking SEC transfer portal hauls, and I'm going to rank the top 5 classes from the transfer portal this 2022 offseason. So number 1 is the Alabama Crimson Tide, a team that really didn't need any help. They're kind of like a billionaire who is getting handouts and charity checks from people who are do-gooders. They don't need it, but it's certainly going to help them even more. So it starts on offense. Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, kick returner. Who knows if Saban will put him back there for that. Jermaine Burton at wide receiver is going to step in to help fill the void left by Jamison Williams. Tyler Steen, left tackle from Vanderbilt, should step in and help bolster that offensive line. Tyler Harrell, another wide receiver, comes from Louisville, one of the fastest players in FBS. And then on the defensive side, Eli Ricks, who is somebody that I'm projecting to possibly be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC. And I know they've got Will Anderson, I know they've got Dallas Turner, I know they've got Helms, and a lot of those guys coming back, but Eli Ricks is a special player. Number 2, the Ole Miss Rebels, staying in the SEC West. So you look on offense, I think it starts with the 2 running backs they got. Zach Evans from TCU averaged over 5 yards a carry, and Ulysses Bentley from SMU. A little bit of a head scratcher there, but I think that Bentley's athleticism can really pay dividends in the open field. Also on offense, Jalen Robinson from UCF, another one of the fastest players in FBS. He is joined by a slew of wide receivers, and I'm not going to name them all, but there's about 4 guys that they get in that transfer portal that are going to help out the Rebels and Lane Kiffin's offense. On the defensive side, Kerry Coleman from TCU and Jared Ivey, 2 edge players who will make some contributions at DN. Troy Brown from Central Michigan, my alma mater, at linebacker, and then Ashim Young and Ladarius Tennyson from Iowa State and Auburn, respectively, helping out in that secondary. At number 3, we're going to go to the Bayou and the LSU Tigers. So a lot of players. They had probably the most volume of any team in the SEC. On offense, quarterback Jaden Daniels from Arizona State, who I don't think is going to be their quarterback this season, but I think he could be an athlete that helps him out. Brian Kelly does a great job at finding ways to get athletes on the field and use his players. Noah Kane, I think, is going to be the bigger help at running back, transfer from Penn State. Physical back with some speed. Kyron Lacey, a good wide receiver from Louisiana. He did not follow Napier to Florida. He actually goes to LSU, stays in the state. Miles Frazier from FIU, left tackle, who will be vying with true freshman Campbell at left tackle, but Frazier provides a lot of starting experience and might start the season off there. And then also Tremont Shorts from East Tennessee State should step in and fill in at left guard. On the defensive side, Mekhi Wingo, a big, strong defensive tackle from Missouri. West Weeks comes over from Virginia, played as a true freshman last year and is a good athlete. He can play linebacker, he can play safety, so I think he'll be a good person to put on some of those tight end wide receiver hybrid mismatches in the middle of the field. The secondary is where they really cleaned up. So Mekhi Williams-Garner, a corner from Louisiana, comes along with Kyron Lacey. Jarek Bernard Converse from Oklahoma State. Sorry about the sun there. It's a nice sunny day here in Michigan. As well as Sevin Banks from Ohio State, Greg Brooks from Arkansas, and also Arkansas teammate safety Joe Fouché. So a lot of help coming in that secondary where LSU is going to be a much improved defense in 2022. At number 4, I'm going to go with South Carolina, mainly because of who they brought in on offense. So the Gamecocks are getting Spencer Rattler at quarterback, Christian Beal-Smith transfer from Wake Forest, who actually started over Kenneth Walker a couple years ago and was a starter last year. We all know what Walker did at Michigan State, so what can we expect from Christian Beal-Smith? I think some good things. Juice Wells from James Madison, Corey Rucker from Arkansas State. Rucker had a great freshman season last year for the Red Wolves. And then on the defensive side, Terrell Dawkins from NC State at D-end, and Devonnie Reed, again, from my alma mater, Central Michigan. The Chippewas lost quite a few to the transfer portal on defense, 4 guys that jump out to me, and a good number of them went to the SEC. At number 5, the Florida Gators. So Billy Napier did a good job of bringing some of his talent with him from Lafayette, Louisiana, namely Montrell Johnson, who was a freshman All-American last year and the leading rusher for the Ragin' Cajuns. And then the offensive line, All-American Osiris Torrance, who should be a first-round draft pick in 2023, and Cameron Waits, who might come in as a backup tackle. He might earn his way on the starting spot on that right side, but had a pretty good freshman year last year for UL. And then on the defensive side, Georgia transfer at cornerback, Jalen Kimber. So Kimber is a guy with a lot of speed. He's a lockdown, shutdown corner. I think will really help the Gators in that back end. And then honorable mention, the Arkansas Razorbacks, Jaden Hazelwood at wide receiver, along with Matt Landers, who comes over from Toledo, started his career at Georgia. Those two should help out in the passing game. But on the defensive side is where the Hogs really did a number. Landon Jackson, a high 4-star recruit from LSU. He crosses the border and comes to Fayetteville. Also on the defensive line, Jordan Dominic, a DN from Georgia Tech, and Terry Hampton, a D-tackle, big, thick D-tackle from Arkansas State. Should be a pretty good nose guy at a 1 or a 2-eye technique. Avoiding the sun again. And then also, Drew Sanders, who was a high recruit for the Alabama Crimson Tide. There were just too many athletes to compete with there, so it's not that he bowed out, but he saw an opportunity to play at a very competitive SEC West school, and a good coach in Sam Pittman, and a great D coordinator in Barry Odom, so I think that's going to be a good fit for both. Dwight McGlothern from LSU plays corner, and he should step into a starting role there, as well as Georgia transfer Latavius Brinney at safety. So those are my top 5, top 6, if you will, SEC schools with their transfer portal hires. And I know this went a little bit long, but we wanted to have the conference where it just means more, a little bit longer of a send-off. So again, thanks for following, thanks for watching. Please comment, please subscribe, pass on the good word, and communicate with me. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything that you would like me to hit up on a future Walk It Off with Chappy segment. Again, I'm Chappy, and this is what I know.